I'm Bob Moles from the Wapsie Pines Tree Farm, and I would just like to give you a little update for Christmas selling season. It's been a pretty good year because of the moistures we got, but we're still recovering from the past 2 years of drought. But by and large, our trees are in quite good shape. We'll take a little bit of a tour and we'll show you some pictures a little bit later. I'd also remind you that there is a videotape on YouTube that talks about our process and what you do when you come to our tree farm. So it would be good that you take a look at that video as well as this one. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go out in the trees and we'll talk about what we got for trees this year and how they look, and then we'll come back and close out. Okay, I'd just like to update you all a little bit about where we stand with our fir trees, which are quite popular on this farm, of course. Fraser fir, very, very popular, as well as Canaan fir. And they look very similar. This happens to be about a 10-foot Fraser fir. We have a lot of large Canaan and Fraser fir up to 11 feet. When you come out, you'll notice that only a portion of them are priced for sale this year because we have to have these large trees last us about 3 more years before our next growth of trees will be back up to 9 or 10 foot tall. So you'll see a lot of good trees, but only about a third of them will be priced for sale this year. On the 7 to 8 foot Fraser firs, we are a bit short on those, and so we did bring in a bunch that you can see when you first come into the driveway down at the tree farm, at the trees that we brought in and have stood them up on posts. They're quite nice trees, and therefore if you can't find a nice 7 to 8 foot fir tree in the field, we have supplemented that with some that we brought in that are pre-cut. These are some of our larger concord fir trees. We have them anywhere from 6 or 7 feet up to about 11, somewhere even very close to 12 foot. These are a very, very nice tree. We have more this year than we've had normally, and they are probably the most expensive, but they are a really very, very nice tree. So when you come out, you may want to take a look at these. We have only 100, a little over 100 of them to sell, but they're becoming more and more popular. So the concolor situation is pretty good this year, mainly in the big trees. This is some of our larger Scotch pines that we have. Our Scotch pine situation is very, very good this year. We have them anywhere from 3 feet on up to about 10 foot. These happen to be some of the taller ones, and we have another field we will go to that have more from the 6 to 7 to 8 foot range. But the Scotch pines have responded very well to the weather this year and filled out very nice. The quality is quite good with them. Here we are in our white pine patch. We have a lot of good white pines this year. They're a little wider and fluffier than normal because of the July rains we had. After we shaped them, a bunch of them grew out more than they normally do, but they're still quite nice and very, very good and healthy white pine trees. Selection here runs anywhere from 4 feet on up to about 10 feet. We have some in the patches here. Okay, this is just a quick look at one of our up-and-coming Fraser fields. There's probably 2,000 Frasers in here, and a lot of them are around the 6 to 7 foot. Next year we will be at 7 to 8, and the next year 8 to 9. So this is our future coming up in a couple years. A little bit short of the 7 to 8s this year, but after this year we're going to be in very good shape. This is really a result of the drought of 2012 and 13 and the inability to get good seedling stock for another 4 or 5 years because the drought of 2012 and 13 wiped out seedling suppliers as well. So now we're back on a really good path, and it's just this year a little bit tight on the fir trees, and after this year we're going to be in great, great shape. Here is one of our fields of Canaan fir. They have, you can see, have come along quite nicely. They've come out of the drought. They've probably responded as good as any trees that we've had in terms of the drought. We do have a lot in the 6 to 7 foot range, and some, of course, up taller. But these here are 7 foot and make very, very nice trees. And again, we have many of these coming up for the next few years now. So we'll have lots and lots of Canaans as well. This is our probably our largest Scotch pine field that we have out here with several thousand Scotch pines. They will range anywhere from 3.5 feet up to about 8, intermixed, and probably one of the better selections we've had of Scotch pine in years. So if you like Scotch pine, you should not be disappointed this year in finding something that really fits your wants and needs. Okay, this is our stand of pre-cut trees. These are trees that we brought in. They actually came from North Carolina, a very, very good source. And you may want to take a look at these when you first come in. When you first drive in and meet us at the shed where you get your saw, they're right next to the shed, and it may be worthwhile for you to take a look. Most of these are 7 to 8 foot, maybe a little over 8 foot in height. And that's the size that we're a bit short on in the field. Now, I'd just like to make a couple comments about this weekend, our opening weekend, starting on Black Friday. It's probably going to be single digits in the morning, and then only getting up to about 25 in the afternoon. When we have single digit temperatures in the morning, the trees are quite brittle and they have to be handled carefully. So we may take a little bit longer. We can still shake them, maybe not as thoroughly as we used to, because when they're brittle like that, you don't want to shake them too long. And we may have to put them in a netting machine a little bit larger than normal, because we don't want to bend the branches too much and snap them. So it's maybe going to take us a little longer to process trees until at least it gets warmed up to about 20 degrees. And from there on, then we can move along. But it is going to be cold all 3 days, and but Santa will be here with a nice warm shed. We got a nice warm sales building, and of course all of our usual hot chocolate and cookies complimentary. So I think we can still have a great weekend out here, but bring your warm clothes, and hope to see you then.